What's up guys, welcome back, welcome to Japan. Here we are at Autopolis. Bit of a love-hate track for many people. Some people love it, some people hate it. I usually get on quite well here. Here we are in a Group 1 cars, the LMP1 cars, top split lobby on my main account. A couple of A+ drives in here, myself also just on the verge of A+. Here we are on the line, revving to burn off the fuel. I can't decide what brake balance to go with, so I go back to 0. I know the front tyres will go off during the race, but that should be the safest way. Here we are with full tank of fuel, cold tyres, and down off the line now we start. We've got a good start there, in the slipstream of burrs in front, looking ahead for the braking zone, a little bit of warmth going to the tyres there, and we just get alongside him there and just go for a move that really wasn't planned. Tried to leave him space on the exit, and we've somehow got that move done. We're into third place. Late on the brakes here, too late onto the brakes, run wide on the cold tyres with a heavy car, and we try to stay narrow. We have a little tap there, which I think fires burrs into the car on the outside, gives him a 5-second penalty, and I had no idea what for. I felt really bad for that. He slows down maybe to let someone by. I trip over somebody else and I'm spun off into the gravel. This is my first race, and God knows what happened there. Let's have a look back. So we put the move on burrs unexpectedly, but we left him room on the outside. That's all good, and this is where it kind of goes wrong. Not familiar with these cars under race conditions, and we've run wide into turn 2. On here I tried to stay narrow to keep out of everyone's way and just got a slight tap on burrs. He's fired into this Spanish guy on the outside. He's got himself a penalty. The other Toyota barges down the inside of me there, and yeah, I just tagged the guy and spin around. My first race has started awful. So here we are, back on track again now. 19th position. Looks like it's a race from the back for me for this first race. This race was actually streamed live on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to see whenever I do go live. There's always some great racing to be had there. In front of us we see PX Cam on his UK account, another great YouTuber, PX Cam. Check him out. You're probably already familiar with him, but he was also streaming, so it's exciting to go ahead and get racing with him. These Group 1 cars, I actually love the cars. I enjoy driving them. They're one of my favourite classes to drive. I'm normally pretty fast in them, but racing with them is incredibly hard. So certainly on a track like this, when you get in the dirty air of the car ahead, you just lose so much time. As we're onto the braking zone now, PX Cam checks up really badly there. I'm jamming down the gears to try and not go into the back of him. Managed not to make contact. No SR down from me. Everything's all good there, but that was a bit of a scary moment. Yellow flags ahead. There's a lot of people going to get fired off the track in this race as we make our way back through the pack. It looks like we've already passed somebody that's had an incident. As we look to the outside, and a difficult ghosting moment there, but we've got that move done on that car that was rejoining then. PX Cam still in front of us, and we are trying to make some progress through the pack here. We are solidly in the dirty air of the cars ahead, and we are receiving a lot more understeer from the car as we try and go tight, try and get a good exit. With these cars, it's about squaring up the exit, getting the steering central, and then the hybrid kicks in. So we go through the right-hander there. A big checkup from PX Cam. They had to jam on the brakes myself to avoid contact, and we managed to do that. Luckily no contact ahead, as we're in a bit of a freight train now, going through this very tight last section. Sector 3 here in the dirty air is just hurtful. It's just so frustrating. The best way is to try and, maybe like we're doing here, offset the car from the cars ahead, take an alternate line, and try and get some downforce back over the car. We've got a good exit here as we are looking now maybe for a move at the end of the straight. It's not looking like that's possible, although PX Cam looks like he's as we do go for a move, but we back out of that. Car ahead is off to Narnia or Shadow Realm or any of the taglines from the famous YouTubers. as we make up that position. The train is still a long train ahead, and yeah, PX Cam working his way through the field quite well. We are following through as we look to the outside. Ambitious move here, not possible. A little bit of a grass cut, but we managed to survive that. Behind us we have the Swedish driver, who is looking threatening to us. We need to be looking behind as well as forwards here, as he looks inside there in the braking zone but doesn't quite make the move. The red car goes a little wide. PX Cam squeezes through, and we now have a different car in front of us. A penalty for that car ahead. That could have been, I think that might have been Burr's. Maybe he's picked up another penalty through all of them incidents, and a bit of a takeout there from that red car ahead, which forces us wide, and we're slightly compromised now. He's quite rightly got a 4-second penalty for that, so that was a bit of a crazy move there, as we've just let the Swedish guy just sneak past there. I guess we were compromised by that sequence of corners, and he just put a blinding move on me. It kind of surprised me, come from nowhere, as we try and get that place back down the main straight again now, completing lap number 3 onto lap number 4. Are we close enough? I don't think we are. The slipstream down the main straight here was always quite difficult, because as he runs wide, we're going to capitalise now. He's gone deep on the brakes, and we've made that move. The slipstream down the main straight wasn't really so effective, because often it was a big train of cars. The car ahead had the slipstream from the car ahead of that car, and so on and so forth, and it was never really possible to get alongside into the braking zone of turn 1. The best way to make the pass, as we just saw then, was to get your braking nailed for turn 1, and get the pass on the exit using the hybrid power. So the car ahead will serve his 4-second penalty, but we're not happy with that. We just want to make that move straight away, and down the inside now into the big braking zone for this slow hairpin. Difficult hairpin, this one. And now we find ourselves back behind PX Cam again. This is shaping up to be a really fun race. This was my race on stream. After the disastrous start, I was actually feeling quite annoyed, but I just kind of put the brain into recovery mode, and we're having a nice drive back through the field here. And this is the top split lobby, and we are already back to 12th place on lap number 4, running through the pack with PX Cam ahead of us. We've got a Spanish driver ahead of both of us, and we'll see how that plays out. Looking ahead, he might be in the alternate car. I think there might be a Porsche ahead for the Spanish driver. As they go side by side, this could be interesting. See what happens into turn 1 now. We could capitalise on any compromised exits, as we have to check up again mid-corner. The Porsche is wide. We have made that place, so that's worked out well. We kind of saw that one coming. Any car going side by side into that braking zone, both cars would be compromised on the exit. So we just get our braking done in a nice, sensible way, focus on the exit for ourselves, and we could make that move, as we are looking really threatening to PX Cam here, all over the back. But there's still the Swedish driver behind. We've not dropped him. If you keep checking back, he's there just showing his nose. As we think about a move here, we're lined up. We've got a half overlap, and we've gone for it. Tiny bit of contact there. And we've made it through. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I was just wanting to offset my braking to not bump into the back of him, but as another car spins ahead. So yeah, I didn't want to bump into the back of him, but I knew I was better on the brakes there. Another car crashed out, so we're just gaining positions here. But yeah, we got that move done. I didn't expect that to happen. He was quite wide on braking and quite late on turning, so we just took that move, and now we're looking forward. Now it's 3.8 to the Spanish driver ahead. It's a big gap to close in, but we've actually now got clean air for once. The dirty tyres, the dirty air has affected the tyre wear. But now we're just going to skip forward now into lap number 10. We've closed in onto the back of the Spanish driver, and we are looking to make this move towards the end of the race. As he runs wide on the brakes there, we're going to go side by side down here, straight here, but he's got better hybrid on the exit, and we just offset our line a little bit just to make him think about what we're doing, trying to distract him to think about looking backwards rather than racing forwards. And then we are in the dirty air again through this switchback section. My car here is slightly offset from his car ahead, which should allow us some downforce, but it's difficult with the crossing over of the lines. As you can see, he's just starting to gap us there because we're struggling. Tyre wear is a little high for me. Playing on the controller, it's more difficult to save tyres for sure. But then we spent the whole race in dirty air and just scrubbing the tyres, which is not ideal. So here we are braking into turn 1. We've got a little bit deep there on the brakes, and we're just running down. Hopefully that won't make the tyres too dirty. Anyway, what are you thinking of this race so far? I'm interested to know if you're enjoying the Gr1 racing this week, or what is your favourite class of car to race in? I really like the Group 1s myself. Group 1, 2 and 3 is my favourites. But I do understand that the Group 1s can be difficult to race with. Everything's so fast, everything's so intense. Can be less fun to drive. As we almost go into the back of him there on the brakes, I don't know if his tyres are... He's run wide there. Maybe he's suffering with tyres. We could have an opportunity here, so we want to try and position our car so we are close where we need to be close, and far enough away where we need to be making time through these corners here, like with the downforce sections of the track. And through here we are gaining. It was difficult to find a flow through this section when you're in traffic. Lapping on my own, I was able to get really consistent lap times. But running in traffic, always found it so difficult. You're conscious of what the car ahead's doing, and also you've got the reduced downforce from the dirty air. So here we are onto the final lap. Can we make the pass on this Spanish driver ahead? We've got a great braking into turn 1, superb exit. I don't think we're going to be close enough to make anything into this corner here, but we are certainly threatening, and he should be feeling the pressure as we get a nice offset line there, slight to the inside, considering a dive to the inside there, but we get forced to the outside. Looking for a cutback maybe. That's not going to happen. He's defending well. He's putting his car in all the places that make it awkward for me. Thought here was a big wide entry, cutback on the exit, and some deep dive on the brakes here. Not really possible as we bump him. So we just waited up for him here. I don't know if I was late on the brakes or if he was early, but that was certainly not intentional from my side. So I just waited for him, gave him position back. He'll have dirty tyres, I know that, so I'm going to make sure we don't pressure him. I think we got a bit of an assistance from the Swedish driver. I think he realised that I was letting him go, and maybe he backed out of passing me, because he was side by side at the time. So if you did do that, great driving from you, maximum respect. As we look to try and get the Spanish driver one more corner to go, practically impossible to pass here, but yeah, that's not going to happen. So we're going to finish 8th in this race. After the disastrous start, I'll take that result. I still feel bad for Burrs, to be honest. His race was kind of spoiled a little bit by my turn 1 incident, and then my turn 2 and 3, basically just clumsy moving really. I don't think he was happy at the end of the race. He is a bit of an FE from Burrs to me and a couple of other drivers. Maybe he had some other incidents during that race, but certainly one that Burrs would like to forget, I'm sure. So if you happen to watch this video, Burrs, I'm sorry about that. I've had some great racing with you before, and I'm sure we'd like to race you again. Here we are now, race number 2. Originally I lined up 3rd. Someone dropped out before the race began, so that promoted me to 2nd, which may be significant if we look into turn 1 now. Burning fuel on the line, not sure how much difference it actually makes, but we'll do it anyway. If it gains 0.001, let's take it. I'm not fast enough to be giving away free time to anybody else, so if everyone else is doing it, I'm doing it. Okay, here we go. On to the start now. I'm looking to just get straight into the slipstream of the car ahead. and we are down into turn 1, getting the tyres warmer this time, braking a little bit earlier than last time. Don't want to make the same mistake as we did in round 1, and firing through from the back. The driver there takes an amazing block pass and punts off the lead. Let's just check that again one more time. Unbelievable. A bit of pinball physics there, but that move was ridiculous. Whether late on the brakes, maybe an accident, but he's just fired him off, done a perfect block pass, and now he's off in the lead with a 4-second penalty. I don't know if you saw my previous video. We had an incident like that before, as the original pole sitters just having an absolute nightmare now. But in my previous video, we saw a similar incident. Someone missed their braking point into turn 1, but they managed to brake in such a way and find a gap in the traffic and go through that gap. That was the perfect example of what you should do. What we've just seen then is the perfect example of what you should not do. So there we have it, a 4-second penalty for the driver ahead, completely deserved, maybe even more. Very, very poor driving. But that leaves us in an interesting situation, because now the fastest guy on the track is having a nightmare. I've just been released into the lead of this top split race, and now this race is mine to own. What we need to do is just put some consistent lap times in now. So here we have it, ultimate consistency, a 34.0 first lap, 33.9, 34.1, and we just start reading off the laps. 33.9, and across the line again we've got a 34.1, very, very bad lap. 34.1, 0.1 slower than my average. 34.0, bang on target, that's what we need to be doing. What we got here, 34.0 again, and this is where I'll just do 100% focus, just reeling off the laps. 33.9. I think all these laps in the centre of the race were really strong. A bit of a slower lap there. Now, I think that was a telltale sign that I should have really paid attention to, and that the tyres were wearing a little bit. As we break into turn 1, I think we just about hit the apex, a little wide, and we get a real snap on the over the top of the curb. Now, this is a huge wake-up call. I've just been racing for what's probably 16 minutes with maximum concentration, reeling off lap times that are basically exactly the same as each other. But that was a bit of a wake-up call. I just dialed it back there and then brought it home for the win. A rare top split win, but I'll certainly take that. Lucky there with the turn 1 incident, but it took a solid drive to bring that home for me. Now with these Group 1 cars, I always find I'm quite fast in qualifying. I think, relatively speaking, compared to like Group 4 or Group 3, with the Group 1 cars, I'm much more competitive. I don't know whether it's the nature of the cars being harder to drive. I find with the Group 4 cars, they're easy to drive a lap, but that it's hard to extract a fast lap. With the Group 1 cars, I feel like they are hard to drive a lap, and even harder to extract a fast lap from. So here's an interesting comparison here. The fastest car in qualifying through all the time trials is the Audi R18. But up until very late this week, I was just as fast in the Toyota TS050. So here we have 2 laps side by side as we enter the first split, and we are just a fraction up in the Audi R8, but it's very close. And these lap times are, I think, as close as you'll get them as we just go through this slow section of the track now. And the Audi was much harder to drive. It was very wild on throttle. When the hybrid kicks in, it just wants to straighten up and go wherever it's pointing. Into the end of sector 2, and we are just up. I actually just back up on the Toyota, slightly ahead. So it looks like the Toyota's gained some time in that second sector. And now we go into this sweeping right-hander. That's a difficult corner, very difficult to time your exit, not go over the top of the curb into the slower corners here, and we're looking just inch perfect, side by side with the lap times, and we are very close to each of the 2 times here. I think in the last corner here, that in my Audi lap, I'm a little wide, which cost me a little bit of time, and then we run to the line and we finish 0.001 between both these 2 laps. Pretty incredible. But now we get our head down and we put some time into the Audi R18 to improve our lap time. Ahead is Antomix. He's the current fastest in the world driver, as we go very deep on the brakes there, which compromised our exit. But for me, that was the way I could get around the corner the fastest. I couldn't carry the same line that Antomix could carry. As we look into the first sector, we're 0.07 up. 7 up, yeah, nice drink that. As we try and go through all of these corners, and looking at the replay back here, I think I'm missing apexes. There's a lot of time still to be had, but it's such a difficult car to drive. Again, we could have been a little bit tighter there. I think almost probably 4 of the 7 corners that we've done so far, I could have been tighter. I've missed the apex a little bit. And in the second sector, we're up again. So we know we're on a good lap, but the Ghost is quite a long way ahead of us. It did start 0.4 offset in front of us, but looking here now, it's almost a dot in the distance. But I found with these hybrid cars, the lap time comes unexpectedly sometimes. So I wanted to finish the lap, and I wanted to be tidy here. So now we've tightened things up a little bit. We're hitting our apexes, we're getting the curbs to rotate the car a little bit. Slight squirm on power there, but we've collected that and we're all good. Much tighter now on the exit. The comparison lap time we just saw showed me wide there. Now we are racing to the line. I've managed to save the hybrid. That was the difficult thing with the Audi, was to keep the hybrid alive to the end of the lap. And there we have it, 1:31.351. Currently this lap time puts me 49th in EMEA and 80th in the world, which for me is superb. I'm really pleased with that. Now we just watch the lap time, the same lap from the outboard camera, the TV cameras. This car is so much more square to drive than the Toyota. With the Toyota you can cut nice sweeping arcs around all of the corners, but with this car there's just points on exits of the corners where it just squares up and just fires forwards. Superb power from the hybrid, but it's so difficult to keep the charge in it. And as we can see now, it's looking pretty sketchy, to be honest. It doesn't have the smooth carving turns like the Toyota does, but it certainly gets the lap time done. I enjoy driving the Toyota. I don't quite enjoy driving the Audi so much, and I think the Porsche is even worse with regard to the power on understeer when the hybrid kicks in. But here we are, we're running a good lap. It's looking pretty tidy. Now, I think all of my sectors were better, so my optimum time is pretty much the time that I managed to get. But I think there is time still on the table. There's apexes that were missed. There's always things we can improve on, but it's so difficult to hook up a full lap with these cars. They're so sketchy to drive and across the line. So here we come to the end of the video. If you've got this far, thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment and subscribe. I always like interacting with you all. Anything you watch, anything you say, all of your comments are always really valuable. If you'd like to see more videos, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.